Okay, so here we are. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Arati. I'm one of the course instructors for Code Yourself.
And I'm Maria, and I'm a teaching assistant for the course.
So welcome to this Hangout. The you people that are watching us now, you probably belong to the cohort of students that started this course sometime in March. So if I'm not mistaken, you're now on week 4 of the MOOC. So well done for making it so far.
Good job.
Maria has been following the forums a bit, and she's a new addition to the team, let's say. So far we've had Sander having a look at the forums and flagging up any content that we need to act upon, replying to questions. How has your experience with the forums been so far, Maria?
I was pretty happy with the questions that people have. It really showed that they were engaging with the material, and yeah, I'm I'm happy that they find it useful to ask questions in the forums.
So do I. So I find that the forums work really well for interacting with the other students in the course and for just discussing any questions that you have, any doubts, anything that is unclear. Maybe at this point we should say a big thank you to our mentors who have been a really good source of help for running this course. And particularly, I have to say a big thank you to Heather and Jerry, who have been amazing at replying to students' questions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So what is this hangout about? The plan for today is going to be a rather short session. We're going to be replying to some of your questions that we found in the forums. And Maria's going to be showing us a Scratch project, if I'm not mistaken.
Some Scratch games that children made in one of our workshops.
Cool. So we're going to talk about that later on today. So first of all, let's go through a few things that came up in the forums, worth clarifying. So a question that comes up quite often is about how you download and save Scratch files and how you upload them and so forth. So we have some instructions on how to do that in the week 1 content. If I'm not mistaken, you can follow the process shown in the video as well in week 1. Later on, when we share our screen, I'm going to show you how to save a file as well from the web editor. One point I should make, I should kind of emphasize, is around the assignments, where you are expected to upload your Scratch project and then people review it. A typical, very common mistake is that people forget to upload their projects and then nobody can give you feedback. So please remember, there is a button there saying upload a file. Remember to hit that button. Try to find that that SB2 project, SB2 file that you want to upload it, and then you can check. I think there's an option there at the Coursera platform to check that your file has been uploaded. So remember to do that before hitting that kind of submit button, because it's a shame. We get a lot of questions from people that are reviewing projects and they've been assigned a project that they cannot find. Yeah, and another thing that we've seen with peer-assessed projects is about rather than uploading a file of your Scratch project, sharing a link of the published project on Scratch. This is okay, you can do it, but it's not the best way to go about it, because if we are to be fair with each other, you know, the process is really about uploading a file which is in a particular shape by a particular date. Yeah. So this is us being a little bit strict here. But feel free to share your projects on the Scratch community forum, and I'm sure you'll get lots of people to play with your projects and even extend them. Yeah, anything else you wanted to add on that?
About the projects? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whenever you have a game that you've created yourself and you'd like to share it on the forum as well, and it's a good thing to try to see what other people think about it. And
yes, yeah. And actually, this might be a good opportunity to show you a project that one of our students shared on the Scratch platform, which is a variation of Flappy Bird. So I'm going to try that now. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to share my screen. There should be somewhere, there should be some options. Oops. Yep. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Good. Okay. So this is a variation of a game, Flappy Bird, that was created by Naomi, if I'm not mistaken. So this is Flappy Parrot, and it's been published on the Scratch platform, which means you can all try it out. And I think I'm going to give it a go. Okay, good. Some good instructions at the beginning. I'm hitting my arrows to go. Okay, let's see. You can see I'm a little bit slow. Super careful. Okay, level 2.
Level 2.
Oh no! All right, and when the game is over, it's taking me back to the 0 position. Great, good. Nice. Well done, Naomi, and thanks for sharing it. The way we found Naomi's project was through the forums, where she posted a new message saying, have a look at my project, and brilliant stuff. Also feel free to extend it, so you can always hit the See Inside button to have a look at the code, which you can then play with and download in your computer, and then publish it again as an extension of Naomi's game. So I think that's a good thing to do. Right, I'm going to go and unshare my screen. If I manage to do that. Yes. Okay. Now, what other questions have we seen in the forums? There were quite a few questions about the way the course works and the deadlines. So when it comes to compulsory tasks for the course, you've got 5 quizzes, 1 for each week, and 2 peer assessed projects. And you can see that we've specified specific deadlines for each quiz and each project. The truth is that in the new Coursera platform, which is the one you're using right now, deadlines can be a little bit more flexible than you think, which is probably good news.
Yeah.
So we know how hard it is to stick to deadlines. We've been there, and we know how difficult it might be to find time to work on your projects. So when it comes to the quizzes, you can submit any quiz until the end of the course, and that's it. No points deducted for, I don't know, trying quiz 2 on week 5, let's say. So if you haven't had the chance to try all quizzes so far, you've still got time, don't worry, but the sooner the better is my advice.
Yes. So the deadlines are there just to give you an idea of what's the best way to split your work, but as long as you do that work, then it's okay.
Totally agree. And you can, because each quiz is related to the content seen each week, so I think in that way it's easier to manage the kind of knowledge building process in your head too. Now, for the people that feel they've been left behind a bit and don't really have time to tackle all the assignments for this course, or do all the reading, or watch all the videos, no worries, because you can switch to the next session if you feel like it. The next session, I think, begins in April 25th. So there's still some time to give it a go for this one and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, feel free to choose to switch to the next one. And oh yes, another point is about switching sessions. So when you do switch to the next session, you don't need to redo all the work that you did in the previous one. So all your quizzes, for instance, that you've already tackled, you can your answers are there. So I think that's really good. However, I have to give you a tip from personal experience. So if you decide to switch to the next following session, and you switch on week 4, let's say, which is really more than halfway through the course, it's very easy to forget where you were when you tried again on week 4 of the next session. So my advice to you, since the course is rather flexible, is, okay, you don't have time, say, in April, you switch to the next session. As soon as you find a little bit more time, go ahead and tackle the next week's worth of material. Even if that cohort really is currently on week 2, it doesn't matter. You can go through the material on week 4.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see what else we had to talk about. Oh yes, one of the points I get asked every now and then is about the interviews that you see in the course. So remember, we have interviews with computing experts and non-computing experts. So Maria, do you remember any of the interviews you have? Is there one that you particularly like?
Yes, I think one that I remember well is the interview you had with an architect. Yeah, it was really good, because I think that in a way the job of an architect is very similar to the job of a programmer, because you have this big project to build a building or to build an app, and it's a bit difficult if you just start and without any proper planning. And the idea is that you have this sort of sketch in your mind, you have an idea, you start with this, and then you build up on it, and you add more details, and you make it more complex. And I think another similarity is that both architects and programmers have to think very well about the materials that they use. So you have certain materials that are better for certain buildings, you have different programming languages that are better for different tasks, and you need to think about who is going to use your final product, what sort of people, how they use it. So I think there are quite a few similarities.
The last one is a very good point, which I don't think we've actually touched upon in this course. So thanks for bringing it up. Yeah. and the point that you made about designing on paper reminds me of one of the interviews we had on week 1, and that was with an interview with an informatics researcher. She's a friend here, Rosa, and I think one of the tips that she gives people through this interview is about, before going ahead and building your program, having a think, getting a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and just drawing some of your ideas there. And by drawing, I mean whatever works for you. It could be shapes, or it could be pseudocode, or it could be just some notes that you somehow plug in together.
Yeah, just have a sketch of your plan, I guess.
Yeah. And people have asked in the past, maybe you were just proposing this because we're new to programming, so it will help us from avoiding mistakes. That is true, but I also do it when I program. Do you do it? Yeah. So it's not a matter of experience. It's more about being systematic with how you go ahead and tackle your programming.
And trying to organize your ideas so that they make this coherent project.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. So I suppose we could move on to some of the questions we've had about this Hangout. So there was a question that you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, so someone asked how to make a sprite jump up and down on a trampoline. So maybe we can talk a bit about this. There are different ways that you can do it. For example, you can change the position of a sprite. So if you have the coordinates of the trampoline, then you can use a motion block to make your sprite go to a higher position, for example. I think you can also tell the sprite to glide to a certain position.
I quite like gliding, because gliding, you can actually see that character jumping up and then down.
Yeah.
Well, with going directly to specific coordinates is a bit too fast.
It kind of just disappears and appears. Doesn't really look like jumping. Any other thoughts?
Maybe similar to this, I can think of, again, it's not as good as gliding, I think. So you could change there's a go-to with coordinates, and then there's also change Y on change X position with coordinates, which could do the same thing. And actually, now that I think about it, if instead of go-to, you use change Y, this could work for any position of the trampoline horizontally.
Yes.
So that has an advantage in that way. Now, if I'm not mistaken, week 4, we've been talking a little bit about reusing your code, right, and making your code flexible and modular and easy to reuse in different programs. And the question about jumping in a trampoline reminds me of the idea of jumping, having it as a procedure that is reusable. So you could even create a block that defines this behavior.
Yeah, I think that's very important in general in programming, because you don't really want to write the same instructions that make a proper action. You don't want to, if you use that action multiple times, you want to just be able to say, I want to use action this, instead of writing the set of instructions every single time. So yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Cool, try it out. There was something else that I want to talk about. Sorry, I forgot about it, which I think is quite interesting, and that was about the different ideas that come up in the forums and how to extend or modify existing programs. And there was a question. Let me find it. There was a question from one of our students about extending or actually refining the birthday card program that we had in week 1 or 2. I think it was week 2. Now let me find the question. Right, so the question was asked by Adrian, and he says that he's noticed that with the current implementation of the program, the birthday card program, the candles can be blown out by mistake even at the beginning of the game. If you make a loud sound, then they'll just blow out, and this is not what you want. Very well spotted, Adrian. It's true. And in a way, this is something worth correcting. So it does work, but not all the time. So very well spotted. That's the kind of suggestions we need in the forum. So Adrian asked this question, and one of our mentors, Jerry, suggested one way to deal with it. So his tip was to use broadcast. Now, this is something in Scratch called broadcasting messages that you haven't seen so far, but you will learn about it next week. So to me, this is really the best way to tackle this problem of the candles going out before they should, really. Now, after Jerry made the suggestion, Adrian thought about it and found a workaround. Since you haven't learned about broadcasting so far, you can always think about different ways it could be a compromise, but it might be a better compromise than what we currently have. So Adrian's solution was to include a wait 10 seconds block at the beginning of the script for the candles. So basically, when the program starts, you've got your candle is lit, they're waiting for 10 seconds, and we assume that during that time, you're going through the different functionality of the card. And then there's a block for the candles to wait until there's a loud sound. And this actually, it really works. Yeah. It is a workaround, because, what if you're faster? What if 10 seconds is too short, or if it's too long? But it works better than what we have. So thank you, Adrian. Now I think we can move on to scratching, right? So Maria, I know you've brought a couple of games, and they're from what occasion?
So with the occasion of the Edinburgh Science Festival, the University of Edinburgh organized a workshop. It was intended for children up to age of 14. And the idea is to give them just some basic knowledge of Scratch, and then help them create their own games. So we were quite impressed.
Yeah, they were amazing, right?
Yeah,
some of them had seen Scratch before in school. Some of them hadn't.
Yeah, so even people with no experience in Scratch, they still managed to do some very, very cool games.
What I personally really enjoyed in that series of workshops called Game On was the fact that we had them paired so that we didn't have one child per computer. We had pairs of children using a computer, and the way we tackled it is what is called pair programming. So you have a specific role. Maybe person A is controlling the computer, and person B is telling person A what to do. So person B might be doing the thinking, and the other person is using the computer to include the functionality decided by the other person. Many people. So I thought that really works well.
Yeah, I think so. And especially because from time to time we would change the roles so that everybody got the chance to experience both. Both roles.
And that's how pair programming works. And this is not just an educational thing. People do it in companies as well. They find that it works really well to unlock different, boxes of creativity that you have in your head.
Because then you both have different ideas of how to build things, so it's good that everybody has the chance to kind of experiment with those ideas.
So what kind of so we saw lots of different games in that series of workshops. Which ones have you chosen?
I've chosen one with the football that you had to shoot to a moving target, which was really cool, and another one with a maze. So I can maybe show them on the screen. I think. So this is the football game. As you can see, we have two sprites, soccer ball, and the second sprite is the moving target. And the way this game works is if you press on the green flag, then the target starts moving. And whenever you press the spacebar, you try to aim at a target. And if you manage to get it, like this, then your score increases with 1 point. And if you do it 5 times, then it goes to the next level. So I thought this was a really cool game. I think it was made by someone who didn't have a lot of experience in Scratch. So who I don't know if they played so much with Scratch before. I'll try to go through the steps of how to create this game.
Great.
Okay, so if you just go to a new project. First, you would like to change the sprites. So instead of the cat, we'll put football. We can put anyone, but we can choose also a basketball.
It should be further down, I think. It's just they don't
always have to.
Oh well.
Okay. Maybe we can just go through.
There it is.
Soccer ball. Oh. It happens. Okay, so we don't need the cat anymore, and we will change the background as well. Let's just choose the brick wall, as in that game. Okay, So now we have the background, the soccer ball, and we would like to create a new sprite, for which we go to Paint New Sprite, and we will just draw the moving target like this. Okay, so now we have the target. We can make it larger if we wish, or by pressing grow, let's say. Okay, so first of all, I think it's easier if we make this target move. So for this, we go to events and say that whenever the game starts, we want the target to start moving, and then we want it to move all the time. So for this, we need to use the forever block from here, and the action that gets repeated is that the target moves, and if it gets to the edge, then it will bounce back, because otherwise it'll just keep trying to move to the right. So if on edge, bounce. Okay, let's see how this works. Okay, it's
cool.
You can see that it moves a little bit too much. Maybe we just wanted to move it to make it move just a little bit up and down.
So the reason why it's now changing height is because of the way it's bouncing.
Yeah.
So what did you have in mind? Did you want it to keep at the same height, or do you not mind it being like this?
I thought maybe it's a good idea if it moves, but not too much.
Okay.
So we could change this to 5, let's say. So
that's what you mean. Yeah.
And this makes it a bit slower.
So we make it easier for the players.
Yeah, it depends on how.
In terms of the target changing Y position, I think that might have to do with the way the sprite is bouncing.
Yeah.
So shall we keep it like this, or do you want it to have the same height when bouncing?
We can try to make it have the same height.
Okay.
I think by choosing the rotation style to this.
Let's try it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So now it only goes left to right.
So now it's easier, I think.
Yeah, we make it really easy for this player. Okay, so these are the controls for the target, and for the ball, what we want to do is whenever we press the space bar, the ball should go towards the target, and then if it misses, just come back. But if it doesn't miss, then increase the score, and then also come back.
Okay.
So we would like to keep track of how many times we manage to get the ball into the target. So for this, we'll create a variable named score. Okay. Yeah, it's just for the sprite. Okay.
And this has to do with how many times, has to do with whether our ball touches the target.
The target, yeah.
Then a good idea would be to rename our sprite 1 into target. So we keep track of what is what.
Yes.
And that's good practice in general.
Yeah. To have a very descriptive names for your variables. Okay. So we would like to control the ball using the spacebar. So if we go to events, then you can see that there's this control that says when space key is pressed. So whenever this happens, we want the ball to go towards the target. So maybe we can use a repeat loop and say that we want it to move for 10 steps in the direction in the up direction, so towards 0. And whenever the distance between the target and the ball is greater than something, the ball should go back to its initial position. So for this, we'll use a if then condition with the operators. So we want to check if the distance is greater then we'll see what the number, what the best number is there, and we would need to sense the distance between the ball and the target. So then we can use this one. The distance to the target is greater than, let's just try it with 20 for now. Then the ball should go back to the position, to the initial position. So do this, and then we can choose, for example, 6. And
so maybe it's good to jump in and say what Maria is doing now with regards to guessing the coordinates.
Yeah.
So I can see you moved your mouse pointer to the location you wanted the football to go.
Yeah, because for every point on this part of the screen, you can see the location just
down here,
down
right?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
You can see the coordinates X and Y.
Right. Okay. Good.
So for us, we need to make the ball go back to, let's say, 10 and minus 128. So then we choose this and minus 128. Okay, so this is the first part of the game. Let's see for now. Okay. So this seems to work quite well so far, but our score doesn't increase yet. So let's do something for this as well. We can add another. The way they built the game was to add another space key. Pressed command, and then a control forever loop. And whenever the distance between the football and the target was lower than something, then the ball had to go back to the initial coordinates, but also change the score. Okay, so we can put another if loop and go to sensing, to operators first. Check if the distance is smaller than something. So distance to the target is smaller than 20. Then we go back to the initial position. And we also change the score from data. We say that the score will increase by 1. Okay.
And the question, what is the score like when the game begins?
Oh, very good point. We would, whenever the game begins, we want the score to be 0. So for that, we could go, let's say, here, or just, it doesn't really make a difference, but we can say that whenever we press the green flag, then the score will be set to 0. Okay. Good. Let's see now how this works. And I think maybe we can move this a bit. We can play also with the coordinates for the target. And
for the ball to move further up.
Yep. So
Repeat.
instead of Oh, yes, we can put this to, let's say, 20. Because ideally we want the ball to go towards... Oh.
And we've pressed the green flag, did we?
Yep. Okay, so you can see that if it's in the right spot.
So the target being rather large is misleading.
It doesn't actually make
we're going to make it easier, but we didn't. Or we could, if we want to make it easier, one way would be to play. Yeah,
we can also change this distance to something smaller.
Yeah.
If you change it to 30, then it will make it a bit easier.
Yep. Yep.
So you can see that now the score is 2. So you can also add different levels if you want. So whenever the score gets to 5, then you say, congratulations, you're going towards the next level.
And any ideas on how the next level could be more difficult?
So, for example, the target could move in random ways.
Yeah, that was my approach too.
That will make it a bit more difficult. And also you can change the speeds, you can change the shape of the target.
Yep.
So
you can use different costumes for the sprite that have different shapes.
Oh, yes.
And they change randomly. So, well, good luck with that.
Yeah. There are plenty of ways you can make this more difficult. And just to briefly talk about another game that we saw in the festival. For example, this one is a maze. You have the 2 characters, Crab and Giga. And the idea of the game is to make them go towards each other. So it's a 2-player game. One of them is controlled by the arrows. Do you want to be the one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who am I?
You're Giga. And then I'll be the crab. And be really careful not to touch any of the green part. Because if it it's reset, so you have to this is a really fun one too.
Cool. Yeah. And that was also created in the Science Festival.
Yeah, so in just 40 minutes or even around a half an hour or 40 minutes, they just came up with the idea and did everything. So it was really
cool. Good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing our screen now, and maybe we can have a chat about the game. Oops. Okay, here we are. So really good stuff. And what I liked about the last game is that it's a 2-player game, which is something that you don't see very much in Scratch.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very creative.
Well, we've also learned from our experience with the Game On workshops at the Science Festival. This experience that we had with pair programming, it showed us how good it is to program with a friend or even with a stranger. And even if you don't, program with a friend, even if you don't follow the kind of principles of pair programming and you just go with it and just try your best at building a game with a brother or a sister or a friend, it's still really good fun and it works really well, right?
Yeah. And I think, it's just fun to collaborate and share the different ideas you have. And
No, it's really about the ideas. Because I think just by mixing different ideas from different people, you get to build really interesting games that you probably wouldn't have
thought of by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks very much, Mario, for the scratching session. This is more or less us done with this Hangout. Before we say goodbye, perhaps it's worth saying that there's going to be no other Hangout for this cohort, but we plan to have another Hangout next month. So there's a Scratch Day sometime in May. I can't remember. I remember it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
So we'll try to have a Hangout then. And because it's a special occasion, we're going to invite everyone that has been part of our Code Yourself family. So no matter what session you're in, the one that starts in March or the one that started last year in November, you're all invited to join and do some programming with us. Before I say goodbye, another thing to share with you is I'd like to show you how many people we've got in the course and from how many different countries. I think this is always heartwarming to see. So in case you haven't noticed, you can see that from your user account on Coursera. So if you go to the course and you click on classmates, you can see how many people are now registered for the course, this particular cohort. So you see we have more than 1,000 people from 53 different countries. And what I like the most is this map that we've got up here.
Well,
I think this is amazing. We've got people from all around the world. People in South Africa, we've got Australia, quite a lot in Europe. Let's see how things are in Europe. So I bet we've got quite a lot from the UK, and then different places: France, Spain, Greece. Oh, brilliant! Let's see who we've got here. Oh, Serbia, Romania.
Romania.
You're from Romania, right? Oh, well done, Romania.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive, and we're always very happy to hear from you and see how you're doing in the forums. So I hope you've enjoyed this Hangout. I hope you keep programming.
Yeah.
Maybe keep trying out different things in Scratch, like the games we showed you today.
Yep. Keep sharing them.
Keep sharing, and just have fun.
Yay.
And we'll see you around.
See you.
See you. Bye.